Nathan Osmond, welcome
Oh
to the
my
show.
gosh.
You made it.
I've been sitting in the wrong room. I was over in the Google Meet.
That's how I got through school, is I sat in the wrong room my whole life. I understand. I'm glad you're here.
I was story of my life. It's gonna happen. Oh my gosh. Don't you love when technology works?
That's not the first time that's happened, actually. We've had a couple times where the guests have sat in the wrong waiting room somehow.
I was on time. I was excited about this morning brew stuff. This is fun.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was sitting there like, I don't think he's coming today, guys. So unfortunately, blah, blah, blah. And he's been sitting in the wrong room the whole time. Sitting in the wrong room
Coming
is the name
to Jeopardy. That's
right.
right.
Sitting in the wrong room is the name of me and Nathan's new band. You guys don't know that.
I have no friends. No.
We actually put a band together, and it's called Sitting in the Wrong Room. How you doing,
How you guys
Nathan?
doing this morning?
We're good. It's good to see
Great,
you.
man.
Great to see you guys. This is fun, man. We're starting the day off. It's Martin Luther King's birthday today.
Is it really?
It is. Yeah, the 15th of January. Can you? My little 8-year-old reminded me of that last night. So I thought, heck yeah. He's learning some good stuff.
When it comes to birthdays, it's all about Facebook for me.
Yes.
I don't remember anybody's birthdays except when Facebook reminds me that, oh, hey, it's their birthday today. It's like, oh.
Isn't
Are
that
you
great?
friends with
I love
Martin?
that.
Are you
It's my
friends with
mother-in-law's birthday today, too. So we're all having a party tonight.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Congratulations.
What is an Osmond birthday party like?
Lots of teeth. That's for sure.
Lots of teeth.
Lots of teeth.
Yeah, we should get a sponsor like Colgate or somebody. But yeah, you know what? It was Joan Rivers. She came out on her show one time. She was carrying this big, thick rope, and she goes, "This is the Osmond's dental floss." What a great joke. We love it. We love it. Yeah, we go to bed with hangers in our mouths. That's why we're always smiling. It's the Osmond mold. But we're happy. We're happy. And that's the most important thing.
That is amazing. You guys your family has been in the entertainment industry since the 60s, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a long time. We're going to keep doing it till we get it right. But yeah, my father and uncles, they're the ones, the original group, and started that whole musical legend. They just created such a great career. Sold over 100 million records. My father and uncles kind of took a backseat as producers, when the Donnie Marie show kicked in. I was a kid then. I was on those shows and had a chance to kind of watch all the fun and magic, and that's kind of where I caught the bug of singing and performing. And my brothers and I, we kind of started mimicking what we saw of our father and uncles singing barbershop as kids, and that's kind of how it got started. Well, we started singing local church stuff, and anyways, we got signed on Curb Records. It was thanks to our friend Bob Hope. He saw us, heard about this little new generation of Osmonds, put us on his Christmas show. And anyway, we had 3 songs in the top 40 over in the UK. I used to tour with New Kids on the Block and a bunch of the 90s bands.
I'll be right back.
Then I became a country convert. I've done all sorts of different genres, from musical theater, you name it, but the country just kind of resonated with me, and I said, I'm gonna sink my teeth into this genre here. And of course, my dad and uncles used to sing country in the 80s. The Osmonds went country. Marie's always been a little bit country, I tell her I'm a whole lot of country, but it's a lot of fun. We just, like we said, that we're gonna keep doing it till we get it right.
It's so interesting for me because personally, I know nothing about you or your family somehow.
It's all right.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm at like a yacht, like some private part of a plane that I wasn't supposed to be into. Nobody kicked me out.
Well, for the younger generation, there is kind of a generational gap, and so I always say, "Hey, have you ever seen a Nutrisystem commercial? That's my aunt." Or have you ever seen the movie Mulan? Let's get down to business. That's my uncle thinking that.
No way.
So, yeah, that's Donnie. You ever seen a College Road Trip or $1 Million Pyramid Game Show? I mean, they've really recreated their careers. If you ever watched Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor, the Dreamcoat DVD, there's so many different things. I'm so proud of my family and what they've been able to do. And I've had some great examples around me that just kind of inspire me to go after my dreams, and do my thing. I almost didn't use my last name when I first put my first album out there, because I didn't want people to prejudge it. I want to have my own fair shot, build my own name on my own merits. And Marie was like, "Yeah, don't use Osmond. People are going to prejudge it." And then Donnie stopped me. He says, "No, Nathan, people go on American Idol and America's Got Talent because they want to be part of a brand, something that people recognize, some instant credibility. Now you've got a brand. Don't camp on it. Don't abuse it. Let it be a layer in the cake. You got to have the goods. Let it get a foot in the door.
Yeah.
Then your music's got to speak for itself. And I thought that was great advice. And then Marie, she changed her story later. Says you were smart to go with Osmond.
No,
Country music,
that being hesitant to sort of, because you don't want to feel like it's given to you. You want to feel like you've earned it.
You earned it, yeah. And that's one thing I loved is they had the opportunity, because I didn't tell my family I was going to Nashville to pursue a country music career, and I just went and I could make connections with like the guys from Lone Star, and I went out there and I wrote with them just as a songwriter. Anyways, that song that we ended up writing ended up being on my album, because I told Dean, I said, it's always been my dream to have my own album. I said, why don't you come to my house? We'll just do it right. So I had them produce the first half of my album. Then I took it down to my Aunt Marie's bass player. His name is Gary Baker. He wrote the song I Swear, and I'm Already There for Lone Star, all these big hits. And he ended up producing the rest of my album. And then I went and did like everybody else did. Boom, 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 knock on the doors on Music Row, and I just had to really put myself out there. I remember just sitting around like in Curb Records and letting them listen to my stuff, or Warner Nashville. And it was cool. GAC, I had the whole boardroom. It was filled with these guys listening to my music and said, this is awesome. But I had to get my name out there, and I didn't tell my family, not a single soul, at what I was doing.
I don't blame you, man.
Did it. And once I got signed and we had 4 consecutive #1 hits, I think I gained their respect. So that's the key. Is if you want to do something in life, don't wait for the permission to go out and do it. Just do it. I like Nike slogan, Just
I love that. So Nathan, really quick, like being an Osmond, growing up in that house, there's a lot of pressure. One of the questions that came in is there must be a ton of pressure growing up in that. And I think you kind of just answered that, because you literally just said, like, you didn't know, do you take the last name or not? And then you turn around and you don't tell anyone. Tell us about how you kept yourself strong through all of that, because you had to be like internally, like, shit, my family, my everything, and then turn around, you're moving, but you're following your dream. Tell everybody about why that's essential. I love this.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the thing, is that I was serving I had a job, as an MC. I was MCing all these big financial conferences, doing about 155 of those a year. And I had to not even tell my boss what I was doing. Yeah. Because, first of all, I didn't want to be talked out of my dream. Sometimes people love it so much that they just don't want to see you get hurt. Hey, keep it as a hobby or whatever it is. And I knew those conversations were waiting for me if I opened my mouth. So I said, I'm just going to go out and do it. And it was a struggle. I had to network like crazy. I had to go out there and just really throw my heart over the bar. And it was hard not to talk about it because I was excited about it. But I found that sometimes if you don't just talk to people about what you want to do and just go do it, once you start getting the results that you want, people are going to start asking you questions like, how did you do that? Yep. And that's a much better question. Like, hey, you should just keep it a hobby. So I learned that because I was surrounded by some great motivational speakers. I was introducing Les Brown and all these great people on stage, and I would pick their brains. And it was so cool because now I've got a podcast of my own called Achieving Awesomeness Now. I'm inviting all those guys on my show to motivate, inspire, and help people step into their greatness, because life is short. So don't sit around and waste time. I think that if the worst thing we want to do is get the end of our life and go, man, I wish I would have. You know what I'm saying? Yes, so live life without regrets. So I just had to push myself. My wife was behind me. She knew about it, obviously. But I had to tell my bosses, hey, my brother David's he has a wedding, and I need to ask for a week off. You need a week off for a wedding? You know how many Osmonds there are? You know how long that reception line is? I didn't tell him that on the way to the wedding, I was going out to Nashville to record my first 4 sides for my album with Lone Star. And so I was kind of like sneaky about it, right? Yeah. But the thing is that doors opened up. I was able to just, step into that. Opportunities arise. We were able to get some great players on there. It took me 2 years really to get it just the way I wanted it. And you only get that one first impression. So if you're out there, if you're listening today and you're an artist and you're trying to get out there, be picky with your sound. Don't just put stuff out. No, put stuff out there. Obviously, people like Reel, they like the YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff, Snapchat. But when it comes to your brand, be picky and find out who you are. Because I thought about going out as Nathan George. That's my middle name. It sounds country. But I realized in country music that you're proud of your roots. You're proud of your heritage.
100%.
And if I came out as Nathan George and Osmond would eventually come out, they go, what, is he ashamed of his family? Is there a little riff in the Osmond family? No. So I thought, let's just be authentic.
Have you noticed that throughout your life? Like, there's always negative sides to like paparazzi and the people that report, and sometimes they just come up like with what you just said. If you would have came out as Nathan George, somebody inevitably, the National Enquirer or one of those other bullshit publications would have came out and been like, "Oh, Nathan hates his family."
Oh yeah, we've had that throughout our lives. You know, Marie sued one of the magazines. My father, who came, talked about his MS, finally, got threatened by the Star magazine and threatened to write their own story if they didn't give him the exclusive. Heck, my brothers and I, you don't believe any of the stuff those magazines write anyway. I was in a tabloid once with my brother, and it was very, very, very positive. I didn't know how to take it. You don't believe anything they write.
Like, so man, they're being nice to us. That's crazy.
But the thing is my uncle Donnie told me that when I first got into the business. He's like, Nathan, you just got to have thick skin because not everybody's going to like you, and you have to be okay with that. And that's the hardest thing as an entertainer, because our job, we feel, is I got to make everybody happy.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Donnie just recently this last year told me a really cool story when he was doing Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor, the Dreamcoat. He was struggling with panic attacks and all sorts of stuff during that time. And so he opened up and he says, the first day I was working with this award-winning director, and he brought me to the front of the stage, and during rehearsals, and he says, Donnie, what is your job? My job is to give these people the best experience of their life by giving them the best performance. And he says, Donnie, he starts laughing. He says, you got it all wrong. No. Your job is to have the time of your life. And these people are paying top dollar to escape their problems and come into this dark theater to get a little sneak peek into that euphoria that you're experiencing up there on that stage. You're helping them to escape their world for a minute and get a glimpse of the joy and the euphoria that you're experiencing up here. That's your job. And I thought, wow, what a great
piece of advice for sure.
Yeah.
He says, I've been doing this my whole life. Donnie, you've got it wrong. So he learned that, and he passed that on to me. And I thought, I have so much joy when I'm up on stage and having fun and helping people to escape their problems. There's a lot of problems going on in the world right now, and it's kind of nice to take his time out. It's kind of nice when music is healing, and I try to sing songs that are meaningful. I got a lot of patriotic songs. I love that flag you got behind you right there. I'm a patriot. In fact, I'm an honorary command sergeant major.
that came from my good friend Lisa Tillman. This was actually flown in a B-52 over the area where she was deployed at, and she sent it to me in the box. I've got the certificate and everything that came.
Oh, that's awesome!
It's
so cool.
It's one of my most prized possessions. I'm very supportive of our military.
Amen to that. Oh gosh, they do so much for us.
Our very own Brad Stokes wants to know, how do you keep focus when haters come out in force?
Oh, it's hard. I got one guy on YouTube that hates every one of my videos 7 times. It's the same guy. Just because he doesn't like my dad, so that's the thing, is that not everybody's going to like it. But I think, how sad is that he's got 7 separate accounts. He goes and dislikes everything I ever post.
Oh my God.
Yeah, keep it a hobby, but whatever it is.
You're getting
got to pray for people like that.
You're getting 7 more views and 7 more engagements.
There you go.
No doubt, because even that dislike thumb, that counts as an engagement in the algorithm. So whatever, go for it. Knock it off. Recat wants to know, would you ever do the Masked Singer like Donnie when he was the peacock?
Oh my heck. That would be fun. He told me the story behind that. He says nobody knew what was going on. He kept doing his Vegas show while he was doing it. And the reason why he picked to be the flamingo or the peacock was because they started his career on NBC. So, but really? I could tell who it was. I don't know. If I was never asked to do it, that would be incredible. I love stuff like that. He was on Dancing with the Stars. So was Marie. And just, it's fun. The television, you got to recreate yourself sometimes and put yourself out there. And people love it when you're willing to try something new.
I got a question for you. So, country is the main genre that you partake in right now, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, for probably the last 12 years, I've been really focused on country music. I'm a CMA member, and I've just spent a lot of time out in Nashville. We're praying for Nashville right now, but I love country music. I'm a convert, though. I wasn't always. And I told Garth Brooks this. I said, my cousin Travis, he's a real hick. He brought me up, and we were in Branson, Missouri, and he sat me down in his Ford F-150 when he popped with a cassette, and he says, "No, you listen to this guy. His name is Garth." And this Thunder Rolls kicked on, and I was a convert from then on. But I told Garth that story when I got a chance to hang out with him, and it was three guys that really converted me to country.
Singer of a metal band, Dying Desolation. When I do that, thank you. We're actually doing very well for as small and as not signed as we are. Completely independent and everything here out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Love it.
But one thing that I sort of worry about is the authenticity when I'm writing things. Sometimes I struggle and feel and worry about if people will truly believe what I am saying and how I'm feeling, or if they feel like, oh, you're pandering to this audience. Do you ever get that sometimes? I know a lot about country music.
Yeah.
It's all about, working with your hands, cold nights out with a cold beer, the dirt roads, the trucks. But then you come from a family that's sort of more upper class and has a higher status. So do you ever worry about people thinking, oh, he's just pandering to us, he would never actually do these things or doesn't actually feel this way?
I mean, I don't own a pickup truck, but I owned a minivan, and I thought that was country. I think one thing I liked about country is that you can write about real stuff, being a dad, being a PTA member, or whatever it is. I wrote a song about my wife and mother-in-law called Yard Sailing because they like to do that. And so I found that if I just am authentic and write about stuff that's really going on, I don't have to worry about impressing people. Now, sometimes people put a front up. Scott Bruschetta wrote a big blog once, and he was talking about that, tailgate and stuff, and I thought he was targeting me. It was a #1 hit, and it was right around that same time, and I knew Scott, and there's that bro country, and people are tired of people that are just putting on fronts. I think people want people to be authentic. At least that's what I think, and I try to be. I'm sitting here in my office. I got Donald Duck on my shoulder here, so I'm about as real as they come. And I don't live on a farm now. I used to live, in Fairview, Utah. We went cow tipping and did some stuff like that. But country's so much more broader than that, I think, nowadays. You could talk about politics. You could talk about, family and breakups and relationships. And I like that country has changed a little bit through the year. I wish it would get back more to the 90s because that's kind of the country that converted me. But you're right. I remember writing with the lady in Scotland. We were on Skype, and she said, "What do you want to write about today?" And this is a hit songwriter. And I said, "I want to write about the troops." Really? And she says, "Yeah." He says, "That's one thing I love about you Americans is you love the military. You love your patriotism and all that." So I said, I've always been closing my show with God Bless the USA. And I said, I want to write my own God Bless the USA. So in 30 minutes, we had Stars and Stripes written. In fact, this is the flag back here behind me from that music video where we had these real Marines folding the flag. I had real combat footage in there. And it was featured on Lou Dobbs' show and CMT and all that. And went on to win, music video of the year here at Filmed in Utah Awards. And I was really thrilled because we featured real heroes in this thing, and I have so much passion for that, but it opened doors. When you just be who you are and you're authentic, people are drawn to the right people because it helps to open your passion. And if you don't have passion for what you do, if you're not writing about stuff that means anything to you, heck, I had Brian McKnight produce some of my stuff, and he loved, he said something to me that I always remember when it comes to writing songs. He says, "I never get writer's block because stuff happens every day. I might go to the mall and this lady might give me this dirty look. There's my song, And so I just think, well, look around you. If you're stuck and you're trying to write, look around you and just get real. Start writing. And my father says, I keep a recorder by your bed. I got up and he says in the middle of the night in the 70s and just watch words come out of a pen. Always have something to write down or record. But he says, son, the best songs aren't written. They're rewritten. I said, really? He says, yeah. You see, I love this song back in the 70s called Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog. He said, I just love that song. And I wanted to write one just like it. So I took that song and I patterned another song just like it. He goes, what are you doing tonight? Got no place to go. You hear those hits? Jeremiah was a bullfrog. The song was called,
a very similar saying. It's not quite as nice as that one, but it's good artists write, great artists steal.
That's true. Lily Tomlin said the art of originality is hiding your source. And so
maybe that's my problem with my songwriting is that I just don't snag stuff from people. I just try to write all my own originals.
But people, they heard it, they felt familiar, but it wasn't the same melody, but they fell in love with it, and it went all the way to #1 on the Billboard charts. It was called Down by the Lazy River, written by my dad, Alan Osmond.
Isn't that cool? I think Brandon had a question for you.
I do. So who is someone that has been, maybe you were intimidated? You've been in the celebrity realm for so long. Who would be someone that maybe you were intimidated to meet or starstruck when you met them? Because I think you've met so many people. You've thrown out just in this conversation, Garth Brooks and all these other names. Yeah. Garth Brooks, I'm probably going to be a fanboy, and I'm not even a country fan. I like some country, and to be honest, I downloaded your stuff on my Spotify because I wanted to hear you beforehand, and I want to support you.
Thank you. That was you.
Know? What'd you say?
Oh, that was you.
That was me. I'm your biggest fan right now, Nathan.
Nathan! And we've had a chance to be around a lot of familiar faces, and it's been so much fun. I didn't know any different growing up, that I thought everybody had a TV studio and rap presence with Laverne and Shirley and Lucille Ball and all these people that were around, and the Donnie Marie show was huge. I mean, it was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most watched variety TV show. They had a 60 share on the networks every single week. That's like Super Bowl ratings. Of course, they only had about 4 channels back in that day, right? So yeah, it was huge. But the thing is that I've learned throughout the years is that we're all God's kids. We're all brothers and sisters, and these people are going through stuff. When I met Garth, it was such a neat moment for me because for years I wanted to meet him and thank him for being the guy that really kind of converted me to this genre that I love. He said, and so to have the opportunity to sit down with him and Trisha Yearwood, she was sitting next to him, and it was just basically me and 2 friends. Like, he just let us backstage. He had 2 shows that night, and we got about 45 minutes of FaceTime. I thought it was just going to be a little quick meet and greet. But my friend lined it up, and I said, wow, did I win the lottery? I said, Garth, I wanted you to have this album right here because you're the guy that really inspired me to go after my dreams. The biggest compliment I ever get is, people say, you remind me of Garth, and I said, well, that's the biggest compliment I could ever get. And some people have gone on and said, you actually kind of look like him. And I said, Garth, don't get a restraining order, but I was messing around with Photoshop. And I called it Garth Osmond. I actually split our faces. We had a very similar photo shoot. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you guys. I put it on social media, but I called it Garth Osmond, and Trisha was freaking out. She was like, "Oh my gosh, you've done your doppelganger, Garth!"
What was that Garth album that he had the split face on with the?
Yes.
What album was that?
I'm trying to remember the name of the album.
All I remember is No Fences. No Fences was like the greatest album of all time. Such a great album. Man.
There's so many great songs.
That album legitimately made me a 90s country fan. That's where I would not have gotten into Alan Jackson or Brooks and Dunn or Colin Ray. Colin Ray is a phenomenal artist, and so is Vince Gill, for the record.
Yeah.
Just fresh, phenomenal singers.
Meeting Brooks and Dunn was really cool too. I mean, I've always liked Ronnie Dunn's voice and
loved it.
And I was surprised how tall those 2 guys are. I'm 6'2", and they were like, whoa! Same with Lady Antebellum. They're all really tall.
So good.
It's just cool when you meet people. There was one time I remember when I was a teenager, and it was just a neat experience. I didn't get to meet him, but I got to sit in his office. I was 15 years old. It was on my birthday on Valentine's Day, and we walk out of this photo shoot. We were doing some teen magazines over in Europe, and across this little square, I noticed on this building, MPL. McCartney, Paul, Linda. And I'm like, that's Paul McCartney's office right there. My dad, who was good friends with Paul back in the day, said, come on, boys, let me go see if he's there. So we go over, and he was in the studio recording Hope of Deliverance album at the time. But his secretary recognized my dad, and we were on TV a lot over there. She's like, come on in. So we went. I got to go into Paul McCartney's office and just take a tour and sit there right there at his desk and to see big jukebox in there and all these cool original drawings that John and he had drawn. It was so cool. And then, of course, I got a signed autograph postcard. So that was pretty cool. But I've always liked Paul McCartney, and I think, what a career he's had. He came one time. My father got a call. This was back in the 70s, and it was at a hotel in England. And the man at the front desk said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Osmond, to bother you, but there's a Sir Paul McCartney. He'd like to see you come up and get an autograph for his daughter. She's a big Osmond fan." I'm like, "What?" Says, "Please send him up." So he hangs up the phone and he says to his brothers, "Clean up the room." So they grabbed all their underwear and suitcases and just threw everything in the bathroom and closed the door. And then, sure enough, knock, knock, knock. He shows up with his daughter, and what a gentleman. And he stood up for the Osmonds back in the day, and really, just liked their music. And another thing, Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you guys do. You're rockers.
Yeah.
The Osmonds used to use Led Zeppelin's sound system in the 70s because they had so many screaming girls, they had to be louder than them. And back in the day, I tell you, they were so loud, girls' ears would bleed and stuff. But they wanted to go see Led Zeppelin. It was the last show of their tour before they could take over that sound system. And so, and plus it was Led Zeppelin, so they wanted to go. Anyways, great concert. At the end of the concert, they keep the lights down on purpose, and they're encore. We better get out of here. So they start leaving, and the manager sees them leave and says, "Guys, you can't leave. The band wants to meet you." Oh, man, I'm sure they're just being nice. What a great show. Would you tell them, "No, you'll offend them if you leave. Please come right now. Let me get you backstage." So they're pumped. They're going backstage to meet Zeppelin. My father says, I got backstage, and I almost got hit in the head with a Frisbee. And there they are. The crowd's going nuts. They just rocked it out. And there they are with their wives and their kids, and they're sitting there throwing Frisbees back to each other and forth. He says it was such a different scene than what I just seen on stage.
How random is that, though, that you're backstage at a Led Zeppelin concert meeting Led Zeppelin and you're throwing Frisbees?
He's like, Led Zeppelin, the dads. And there they were, and they saw the brothers say, "Hey, the Osmonds, we love your music." They're like, "Are you kidding me?
Right.
We love your music." What a concert. Says, "Hey, we got one more song. It's called Stairway to Heaven. Would you guys come up and on the side of the stage?" And the manager, "Oh, you don't want the Osmonds on stage with Zeppelin." He says, "We want the Osmonds up there watching this." So they got them up on the side of the stage to watch them do their encore, Stairway to Heaven. So my dad said, "If anyone ever asks you who says the Osmonds are cool, you said you tell them Led Zeppelin said so."
Right. If Led Zeppelin says you're cool, man, you're cool.
I grew up with those stories, and I realized at the end of the day, we're all God's kids. We're all just trying to make it. We're all just trying to leave our mark here on the earth and do it while we're here. And so, I love that we have so many cool bands and genres and niches out there that people are writing and getting creative.
The oversaturation of it has really hurt musicians, because there's I was talking with Sahaj Tickerton from a band called Ra. I had him on an interview. And there's 110,000 songs a day are uploaded to the web. In contrast to in the 90s, where we had 10,000 albums a year were produced.
Yeah.
Now we have 110 a day, which oversaturates the market so crazily that it's really difficult for somebody to get out there unless you have the financial backing to get an amazing producer out of an amazing studio to get an amazing sound.
Oh, yeah. I sat down with, who Lou Pearlman is? He's behind bars now. But I had a chance to sit down with him early 2000s with my brothers. And he's the guy that created NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and O-Town and all these people. And he says, "Yeah, it's going to cost you $1 million to get a hit song today." I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, basically you buy your way to the top," he told me. I mean, payola is still rampant out there. But the thing is that I said, "Whatever happened to talent?" He says, money talks. Yeah. And it was crazy. He was actually on the news that week while we were down there to meet him with charges of racketeering. So I thought, probably a good thing we didn't get involved with that guy. But the thing is, it's so true. You really, money does talk, and it's unfortunate. But the thing is, there's only a certain amount of number of spins that radios can play. Sometimes stations have been out there, and in place of commercials, people will pay them to play their song during a commercial break, but they're counting it as a spin. So there's a lot of dishonest things that go on in the business. But the key is, let me ask you a question: with the amount of people that are putting music out there right now, why in the heck would you ever want to copy someone else when it comes to their image? Why do you want to duplicate what's already being posted? So the key is, if originality stands out, then be you. Be the best version of you, and be different. Dare to be different. Now, I'm not saying go out and be, Lady Gaga. I think she actually covers up a lot of her talent. She's super talented, but she's wearing dresses made out of meat. It's like, that's a distraction. How about you let your vocals speak for themselves? She did Star Is Born.
She's an amazing vocalist, man. She's an amazing vocalist.
Totally.
She's an amazing vocalist, but I'm amazed nobody walked up and licked her when she was wearing that meat suit. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I would have seen her and been like, oh, crap.
Brought to you by Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah. Now, do you categorize all sorts of like that sort of like insane, out of this world, like Lady Gaga and their image? Do you categorize that in the same way, or then do you put people like Manson in a separate category?
You know what? I do appreciate their creativity. I mean, look at Elton John, all the weird costumes he did. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I always said, if I were to put a white glove on and go hee hee, kick my leg up, who would I be impersonating? Right, Michael Jackson. And the thing is that you want to be unique. You want to be different. If somebody can imitate you, and others can know who they're imitating, then you've created a brand, right? But the thing is I think that so often we're trying to just mimic each other. We're stealing ideas from Instagram and we're redoing it. All I see is this and that and this TikTok, and it's like everyone's doing this stuff with the same songs. It's just like, hey, be original. And sometimes I know I'm kind of frustrated with the movie business over the last couple decades. It's like it's the remake generation. Oh yeah, like we're just taking ideas from our childhood and redoing them. It's like, I'm looking for a good, new, fresh idea. I love that Inception movie because it was very original, and yet even that was taken from a Scrooge McDuck cartoon. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, there's a little movie. Useless trivia, but I think that if you get an idea, make it your own sound. Now, what can I do that's out of this world? I had the chance just about 2 years ago. I was up in Canada, and I was I heard that this Queen Elizabeth Hotel was the hotel where John Lennon and Yoko Ono did their sleep in. And so I went over and I talked to the concierge, and I said, hey, is there any way I could just get a picture in that room? And he says, you know what, how long are you in town? Can you come back tomorrow? I'll give you a private tour of it. I said, that would be awesome. So I went up there, and I learned that was the room where they recorded the song, Give Peace a Chance. And they invited all these random friends of theirs to come there and sing this, Give Peace a Chance. And the drum that they used on that recording was the actual garbage can from the hotel. And this guy was just boom, hitting it. And you go listen to that. I'm like, that's a garbage can? They were just innovative. I remember going through Abbey Road Studios and hearing the stories about how they would tie the ropes to them. They would fly them around the room as they're playing just to create weird sounds. My dad and uncles did that on a song one time called, what was it called? Movie Man. From their album, The Plan. That was like their Sgt. Pepper album for the Osmonds. It was the Plan album. And it's this rock opera. But my father, he created this sound by putting these music stands kind of by the microphone and creating kind of a weird timbre to his voice, Why did you do it? Should I make your mother cry? It's just kind of a different sound. Yeah. I remember with my brothers, we did a cappella, kind of a Boys to Men version. And we had this thud. And what it was my brother pounding his chest on the microphone, It's fun to be creative and just come up with new sounds and new ideas. Speaking of being creative and coming up with new things, this is the 60th episode of the Morning Brew. So you came in at the right time. Really? Wow. And it would be totally inappropriate for us to have an Osmond on the show and not sing a song with an Osmond. There you go. Here's two things that I'm going to tell you. It's going to sound like shit because we all have a lag, so we're all going to be out of time. Yeah. But it's going to be a happy birthday for the Morning Brew because it's the 60th episode, and that's kind of like, 3-month birthday. So let's sing happy freaking birthday to the Morning Brew with Nathan Osmond. There you go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. and Martin Luther King and my mother-in-law.
Yes. Happy birthday, MLK. Happy birthday, his mother-in-law. Yes. And we have now officially sang with the Osmonds.
That's right.
That's what we do here on the Morning Brew.
My life is complete. I can leave now, guys. Thank you.
Nathan, what we like to do here, we've come to the end of the show, and what we like to do here, you're the first guest that's actually made it to the end of the show, which was awesome. But what we like to do here is we leave our guests and everybody that's watching with a last word of motivation, inspiration, or positivity, because that's what we're all about. We live in a world full of shit. And we like to try to inspire these people. They come here, they support us every day. So we like to give them something to take with them. As the guest, we'll let you go last so that you can see how we do this. And we're going to finish the show off, man. So, Gavin, last words of the day, my friend. What do you got?
Today was a really interesting show. Had a lot of ups and downs. At first, we thought that that Nathan was not going to be here, which was very upsetting, disappointing. And then he was here, which was a lovely surprise. I'm very grateful that he was able to show up, find the right room. I guess my last words of the day, sort of to take from everything that he has told us, is that it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what your heritage is. Everybody has their own journey, their own struggles that they have to do. For Nathan, he didn't tell pretty much anybody about what he was trying to accomplish just because he didn't want any sort of interference or backlash or other people's criticism from it. He knew what he wanted to do, and he did it. That's one thing that we're trying to do here. That's one thing that I try to do with my music and the modeling and the acting and everything else. Is there's a lot of things that I don't tell people just because I want to stay focused on it. And sometimes you don't need that outside energy, whether it's positive or negative. You just have to look at your prize and take it. You just got to take and take and take.
I love it.
Thanks. I love it. Brandon, what do you got, buddy?
Actually, that's kind of along the same lines I was going to go. It was such an honor to have Nathan on today. Truthfully, guys, what an inspiration. Think about being born into a family that you can pick your destination, singing with fame and all this. And Nathan went out and was like, I might have the last name Osmond, but there's only one of me. I am the only Nathan Osmond out there. I am going to go out and find me and put it out there for people to help people. And Nathan, you brought this energy today. I freaking love you, man. Thank you for coming on. It was an honor. I do have one thing. You are the best singer out of all of us here, and we have a viewer. Her name is Maria. So if you could say her name once in a fun voice, I would just die laughing, and I would love it. So
Maria?
Oso Maria.
Awesome.
Oso Maria.
Yeah.
There we go.
Maria. I just kissed a girl named Maria. You heard that song?
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take from today that anything is within your grasp. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, there is no limitations to what you can accomplish in this lifetime if you believe in yourself and you stay focused. All you have to do is take that step forward. You have to do it. Things are not going to come to you. If you have a goal, if you have a dream, if you have a desire, put one foot in front of the other every day, make a step toward that goal. And you're going to find that you're going to achieve a lot more things in life. Don't be afraid to take a step toward your dream or your goal. If you're not dreaming big enough, or if your dreams don't scare the shit out of you, you're not dreaming big enough. Nathan, last words of the day,
my
friend.
gosh. I'm just grateful I found the right room. And sometimes you might be sitting in the wrong room. Maybe you're trying to play. Some of the best concerts I've ever done have been in this room to no audience. I was like all by myself, but that's okay. The key is get out there, find your room, and make a name for yourself. Don't sit there and wait for others to come. And you don't wait for your ship to come in. You swim out to meet it. And if you want something bad enough to fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream of and scheme of is about it and life seems useless and worthless without it. And if you gladly sweat for it, fret for it, and plan for it, lose all your terror of the opposition for it. And if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength, and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if not a cold family sickness or pain, a body or brain can keep you away from the thing that you want. If dogged and grim, you besiege and beset it with the help of God, you'll get it. That is what it's all about, you guys here. Thank you for motivating people to go after their dreams. You know, I'm still going after mine. I'm a young guy. Heck, I'm almost 44 on Valentine's Day. But you know what? You don't label yourself with an age. People say act your age. I've never been this age before, so I'm figuring it out. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. The key is go out and live your life, make a difference, and bring others along with you.
Love it. Nathan, it's been such a pleasure to have you. For my co-host, Brandon, Gavin, and Faith. Faith had to run. She had to take care of some grant paperwork she had to do, so we'll say goodbye for her. And for Nathan, thank you so much for being here. For everybody that watches, for all of you that tuned in, for your comments, for your likes, for your dislikes, we love all of you, man. It doesn't matter what happens. Shoot for your goals, guys. Nathan, we'd love to have you back again somewhere down the road. This was a fun episode, man.
It was fun, man, and I'll make sure I read my emails next time.
Yes. I will try to connect with you. If you want to hang out just for a second after the show, we'll do some talking. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. Remember, each one teach one. Y'all be kind, loving, and humble to each other, man. And we'll see you guys. Have a beautiful, blessed weekend. Chase your goals, shoot for your dreams. This is the Morning Brew. We will see you Monday morning. See ya.